Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. How many people out there are thinking to themselves, I could probably use a little bit better sleep? I know I definitely could. If you're like me, go down to the comments, go down to the description right now. Check them out, 8sleep.com/chatsports for $200 off the pod cover. I'm telling you right now, it's going to change your freaking life. On today's show, ranking the Raiders OC candidates from worst to best. So if you haven't already seen, I put out a show earlier in the week about my Raiders OC candidates. Think about this one as the updated version of that. And the only candidates that you were going to see on this show are people that have been officially requested to interview with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I got to know a name. I need a name. I've been staying up late. Well, that is until I found 8 Sleep, because I've been wondering, who's going to be the Raiders OC? Who's going to be the Raiders quarterback? And who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? My answer is going to be the person that is ranked number 1 on this video. But obviously, I got to know what the nation has to say. Who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC this upcoming season to pair with Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce? If you're like, Mitch, well, give me some names here that I can throw around. I got you. It is Kliff Kingsbury, the USC quarterback coach / senior offensive assistant. Luke Getsy, former Bears OC. Zach Robinson, Rams pass game coordinator, quarterback coach. Alex Van Pelt, former Cleveland offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh quarterback coach. Thad Lewis, Tampa Bay quarterback coach. In total, 7 interviews requested. One of those was Dan Pitcher, quarterback coach for the Bengals. However, he was just hired yesterday to be the Bengals OC. So one of the candidates that the Raiders were going to interview out of their 7, he has already decided to take another job, which I'm not really too surprised about. He's got an opportunity to work with Joe Burrow. That sounds like a pretty good gig if you ask me. So other coaches that I at least want you to watch out for, keep an eye on. Arthur Smith is a name that I've been told to at least keep an eye on that the Raiders could potentially interview. Klint Kubiak would be Clint Kubiak on this list would be a guaranteed top 3. I'm telling you that right now. Kellen Moore, I'm just throwing out there because he has been a popular name for OC circles. I don't know if I would love the hire personally, but he does have that connection with Telesco. Byron Leftwich, the reason why Leftwich is getting a little bit of a nod here is because of his relationship with Tom Brady, and they won a Super Bowl together back in 2021. And then Eric Bieniemy. I don't think that Bieniemy would ever get the job because I've always talked about Fred Biletnikoff's daughter. Bieniemy's got some past things in his closet. But also, though, one of the things that Telesco said, and one of the things Mark Davis said of why Telesco got the job, was his inside knowledge of the AFC West. Bieniemy has a lot of inside knowledge of the AFC West. Here's my promise, though, to the nation. Once the Raiders hire an offensive coordinator, we will go live here on this channel. I don't want you to miss it. When we go live for breaking news that I'm trying to celebrate, man, there's nothing better. It is the closest thing that I feel like I can get to a Raiders watch party, a Raiders game day, an Oakland tailgate. We're going to talk about the move. We're going to have a good time while we do it. So please, once the Raiders hire an OC, tune in. We're going to have fun. Unless they hire number 6 here on my list. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go from worst, and we're going to go to the best in terms of who I want the Raiders offensive coordinator to be. Rolling in here at number 6 on my list of candidates is going to be Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh quarterback coach. And the reason why Sullivan is on this list is because I want the Raiders to have a fun and exciting offense. If you hire Mike Sullivan, I mean, there's a reason why Matt Canada got fired. Like, you want an offense that looks very similar to Josh McDaniels? Here you go. I will say, he's got a nice military background, and anytime somebody comes from the military, I know that they're going to be able to run a really tight ship. So he's coached and played at Army, coached in the NFL since 2002 on offense and on defense. However, in the most recent years, he's been on the offensive side of the football. He was OC for the Giants in 2015, where they were 6th in the NFL in points per game. However, after 1 year, which was pretty well documented, NFL teams started to figure out his offensive scheme. Then they were 26th in the NFL in points per game. This is kind of like near the back end of Eli Manning's career. But you go from 6 to 26 in a short amount of time, it's because teams figured them out. You ask any Steelers fan that you know, what do they think about Mike Sullivan? What do they think of that offense? They'll tell you. Believe me, they'll tell you. Let's go to number 5 here on my list. It is Luke Getsy, former Bears offensive coordinator. I personally thought that one of the reasons why they were going to bring in Getsy was because of the connection with Champ Kelly and some ties there with the former Bears regime, if you will. Getsy, though, he's been the OC for the Bears the last 2 seasons, lost his job this year when they decided to bring in a new head coach. He's been working in the NFL since 2014, and he's going to run the football a lot. Like, I know Antonio Pierce likes to run the rock. And Getsy, when you look at the Bears' rushing attack the past 2 seasons, they were number 1 and they were number 2 the past 2 years. However, they also were one of the worst passing teams in the NFL. I think Getsy would be a better quarterback coach / like running game consultant than he would an actual OC. I could see them at least just wanting to pick his brain about Justin Fields if that was an option. Like, the only reason why I would bring in Luke Getsy would be because I want to talk about Justin Fields here a little bit. But maybe you guys noticed we got a brand new sponsor here on the Raiders Report. And if anybody is like me and needs a better night's sleep, I need you to listen up right now. So today's episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I love 8 Sleep because it has totally stopped my night sweats. I like to snuggle with my dog Chuck, but man, homie is like a heater. Thanks to 8 Sleep, I don't wake up sweating and get a better night's sleep. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allow you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. So, like, here's me being real with all y'all out there, right? When I sleep in bed, I want it to be as cold as humanly possible. When Alex sleeps in the bed, it's got to be a sauna. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, did I pee in the bed or something? Because I'm just sweating. And I'm a snuggler. I love Chuck. That's my guy right there. He's a big dog. He's 75 pounds. I like when he sleeps right here. He sleeps in between my legs. And I wake up 2-3 times in the middle of the night. Either he's getting up or I'm moving because I'm sweating. This is going to revolutionize the game for Alex and I. So if I start coming into work and I look, I'm wide awake, it's because of 8 Sleep. So we'll get started. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Shout out to 8 Sleep for making me sleep a little bit better. Let's go to number 4 on the list. It is Thad Lewis, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback coach. And this is a up-and-coming guy where he's like 36 years old. I believe he's in his upper 30s, but he's one of these up-and-coming coaches. And I do have him ranked at number 4, but it's because I love number 1 and number 2 so much. But this is going to be somebody where I'm curious if I miss on him a little bit. He's been in the NFL as a coach, and he's been working his way up, but he played quarterback from 2010 to 2017. He's had 7 starts. On top of that, Duke grad, smart guy, regarded as a good teacher. One of the things that I want you guys to keep an eye out for, and one of the reasons why I love Patrick Graham when he got brought in, was because people said very intelligent and was regarded as a good teacher. One of the things that I know the Raiders are looking for in this time around and bringing in a lot of coaches is, are they good with players? Because you need to be a good players coach. Are you regarded as a good teacher, and how smart are you to be able to not only just be a coach, but you got to be able to explain what you're trying to do. Bucs QB coach this season and Tampa Bay's assistant wide receiver coach from 2021 and 2022. He's worked with a lot of good players. He's worked with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Thad Lewis is number 4 on my list. Let's go to number 3 here. It's Alex Van Pelt, former Cleveland offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. I got to give Pelt a little bit of credit here because when they lost to Sean Watson, I think everybody, including myself, thought they're done. But you know what? Joe Flacco looked like a pretty darn good quarterback. I gotta give him some credit here. He's been the Browns quarterback coach from 2020 to 2023. He was also the Packers QB coach from 2014 to 2017. And if, let's say, you miss out on your top 2 guys that I'm about to show you, I'd be curious to see if they listen to somebody that has worked with Devontae Adams in years past. I will admit the only time that he's ever been an offensive coordinator in the NFL was back in Buffalo, and they averaged 16.1 points per game. That was 28th in the league. That was a very, very long time ago. To me, though, Pelt's going to want to run the rock, right? Like, I'm really going to be curious to see what direction the Raiders go in with their offense, and based off some of the things that Antonio Pierce said at his intro presser, makes me believe I know which route that they're going to go. But if you want to run this like smash mouth style of football where you decide to bring back Josh Jacobs, you want to run a more conservative offense overall, guess what? That's going to be very, very Very interesting. Yeah, I know. Also, totally not Raiders related, breaking news, the Falcons, they just hired Raheem Morris, in case you're wanting to be their next head coach. So let's keep on talking about the top coordinators. But before we get into my top two, I do want to tell you all that Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be out in Las Vegas doing a Super Bowl 58 watch party. I need the nation to pull up. If you're wondering where, it's at the Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel. Here's the address. The party's going to get started at 2 p.m. Pacific time. February 11th, we're going to have food. We're going to have drink deals. It's going to be absolutely electric. And if you love what Chuggs and I do here on YouTube, well, then you're going to love what we do in person. And I'm just telling you right now, I want all of y'all to show out, bring your family, bring your friends, as many people as we can pack in here. It will be first come, first serve. But as you can see, it's going to be a full bar. And I'm just telling you, we're going to have really, really awesome drink deals. People are going to be sending stuff into you. You're going to eat well. You're going to drink well. You're going to be able to watch the game. You're going to be able to come up on the show, giggity, what Chuggs and I do, a boot, do some beer bongs. At the end of the day, I want to do what Jeremy and I do, but I want y'all to join us. And it's going to be really freaking sick, man. Tons of giveaways. We're going to be giving away jerseys, signed football. I believe there's going to be a few Raiders players there on top of that, so you guys can get some autographs. But it's also an opportunity to hang out, get to know us a little bit better. And if we do this well, there's a chance we might be able to do it next season, every single game. So I mean it. At Ahern. Need you to show up. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, let's get into our top two candidates here to be the next Raiders OC. And I'm telling you right now, if one of these two guys end up getting hired, I'm going to be a very, very happy individual. And if I'm being honest with you, I think the other four names are just kind of four names. This is where it starts for me. This is where the Raiders need to go, and it's only these two guys. Really, I shouldn't even put number 2 for Robinson here. It's 1A and 1B in my book. But let's go. Zach Robinson, Rams pass game coordinator and quarterback coach. I'm a believer that if you've seen something be successful a lot, there's probably a reason behind it. And a lot of coaches that come from Sean McVay, that come from that coaching tree, they are very successful in the NFL. And here's just another example of Robinson coming from that tree, very highly regarded. It was reported that he finished second in the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator job rankings, and they decided to go with Shane Waldron over him. So when you think about Robinson, he also has some connections here with Tom Telesco. He's worked with quarterbacks like Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and the reason why that is intriguing to me is because Zach Robinson has also had some good ties with some QBs that not are going to run a total air-it-out offense, but can run an offense that's predicated on having a good running back, a little bit of play action, maybe can move a little bit in the pocket. Doesn't have any play calling experience, and that's why, to me, he's ranked number 2 on this list. I would be ecstatic if the Raiders were able to bring in Robinson, but because he doesn't have any play calling experience is the simple reason why he is number 2 on my list, which means coming in here at number 1 is Kliff Kingsbury, the USC quarterback coach, senior offensive assistant. The reason why he's number 1 on my list is because if you listen to what Antonio Pierce said at his presser, he wanted somebody to come in that had some coaching experience, and I believe that AP is really going to concentrate on the defensive side of the football, which then allows Kingsbury to do his own thing. He's going to run a spread offense, which I do think is what the Raiders want. AP described the offense that he's looking for, where they're going to take shots down the field. They're going to do a lot of speed, a lot of pre-snap motion. Guess what? That is Kingsbury offense through and through. He also has that coaching experience, which I do really think is what Antonio Pierce is going to need. You concentrate on what you do best, AP. Build that defense. Make it even better than what it was last season. And then you allow Kingsbury, who, yes, did not do a good job as a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, but he is the perfect example, maybe not the perfect example, because maybe the perfect example was our head coach last season, of there are certain people who are built to be head coaches, and then there are certain people that are built to be coordinators. Kliff Kingsbury, to me, is a smart offensive mind. He's very highly touted. And the reason why I'm confident and why he is highly touted, because I believe Lincoln Riley is a good head coach, right? Whether maybe if you're from Oklahoma, you don't think that. But he's a good head coach. Who does he go on to get? Kliff Kingsbury. Why? He's got a quarterback like Caleb Williams. Think about all the talented quarterbacks that Kliff has worked with. Why? Because people want him to work with talented quarterbacks. And if you want the Raiders to find a franchise QB, if they hire him, that's a home run swing. And to me, that means they're going to be swinging for the fences, which is what the Raiders need to do. So give me a name. I said to me, Kliff Kingsbury, Zach Robinson. But what do y'all think? Who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? I asked you this question at the very beginning of the show. Now, since I've rolled through all the names, told you a little bit more about those guys, Who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? It is Kliff Kingsbury. It is Zach Robinson as the top targets as it stands right now for the Silver and Black. And it's not even close to me. I will admit, if the Raiders put in an interview for Klint Kubiak, I would add Klint Kubiak to this list on top of that. Kliff, Robinson, Klint Kubiak are the top 3 candidates. That hasn't changed from the moment I made my first video. It hasn't changed now. But based off of all the interviews that the Raiders have put in, Kingsbury and Robinson give this team the best opportunity to move forward and compete for the ultimate goal, which is not only for an AFC West title, though I'd love to be able to shut up the Chiefs. It's to go out and get that Lombardi trophy. So one more time here are the top Raiders OC candidates, if I had to rank them. Rolling in here at number 6 is Mike Sullivan. Luke Getsy at number 5. Thad Lewis at 4. Alex Van Pelt at 3. Zach Robinson 2. And rolling in at number 1, Kliff Kingsbury.